lots of ambulances now on the move. The ambulances have been quite static for the last hour or so, but suddenly a lot of sort of vehicular activity going towards the scene. The bang occurred, I would say, I heard the bang from my apartment and came out to see what was going on just after around 8:30, I would say. And I managed to get down to, again, sorry for the sirens, I managed to get down to 23rd and 6th, and I did see one lady being stretched away. There were a lot of rumours flying around the crowd in the initial moment about what actually happened. But certainly some kind of explosion has happened.
I want you to stand by. Mr. Cheeman, if you will stand by. They're interviewing someone live now. Witness, let's listen.
Which is pretty amazing.
What was going through your head when you heard
Where is it? 23rd.
That there's an explosion, and then you start, I'm an architect, you get concerned. You heard about gas explosions. I've lived through 9/11, and it was a concern for humanity.
Tell me about the scene afterwards. Once you heard the explosion, you were
first responders coming. So a lot of, the blinking lights, it's first responders, a lot of police. And then as I started, fire trucks, emergency vehicles, undercover emergency vehicles. I spoke to one ambulance man. He says, I go, what's going on? He goes, I haven't heard anything yet. He goes, we're still investigating.
Was it chaotic? Was it calm? How would you describe it?
It's pretty calm. There's a lot of people around the corner because there were still vehicles, surprisingly. There was many vehicles still coming down 23rd Street that they had to clear out. And as they start, and then I just saw the first police car block everybody on 23rd Street and then get rid of all those cars. So after all the vehicles were gone, then you see the people congregating on the corner.
Concerned at all for your safety, knowing that this explosion is happening, 3 blocks away from you, and not a lot of information?
Initially, yes, you always have that concern because you don't know if it's 3 blocks away or if it's about 100 feet away. And you don't know, and these days you just don't know.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. Appreciate you describing the scene a little bit for us. As you heard from Anthony here, who just happened to hear the explosion 3 blocks away from where it happened. He said that it sounded loud. He's an architect. He's familiar with some types of explosions. He says that for the most part, people were calm.
So again, that is New York One on the scene, a CNN affiliate there interviewing a witness to it. At least someone who was very close to it and heard the explosion. It's interesting, on 23rd Street, I lived not far from there a couple years ago, and so I know that this neighborhood very well. These are pictures that we are getting in now from this explosion, and I can't quite, from my monitor, make out exactly what that is, but again, it's debris from this explosion. It looks like it's part of a dumpster. Here's what we know right now. According to the New York Fire Department, the department says 25 injuries in this explosion. None of them appears to be life-threatening. Again, 25 injuries in this explosion in New York City, in the Chelsea neighborhood at 23rd Street and 6th Avenue. Injuries to civilians. It's confirmed at, and this is the address that they're giving me. I'm getting 2 different addresses, guys, if you can. It's 133, that's according to the fire department. I'm being told it's 135. But what we're saying is 133, Chelsea, 133 23rd Street in Chelsea. And that would be as I'm getting new information here, the Association for the Blind is right in that area. If not in 123, it is in 125. Again, none appears to be life-threatening, and that's according to a fire department tweet. I'm also being told that gas has been ruled out. Officials are now trying to assess what caused this explosion. Gas has been ruled out as an explosion, law enforcement officials tell CNN, and also they're still trying to assess what caused the explosion. No secondary device has been located. That is according to our justice producer, Simone Popez. I want to get now to Corey Johnson, who's a New York City councilman. Corey, you are on the scene. What can you tell us? What do you know?
Hey, Don, I'm at the corner of 23rd Street and 6th Avenue. Your initial reports are what I'm hearing as well. It happened outside the Association for the Blind. For folks that aren't familiar with the neighborhood, 23rd Street is a major thoroughfare, as you said, that runs east to west, and it's very busy on a warm Saturday night in New York City. It's sandwiched between 2 subway lines, the PATH train and the F&M lines at 23rd and 6th, and the 1 train at 23rd and 7th. There are helicopters overhead, and what we're hearing is they're not saying it's a bomb yet, There are no confirmed reports of that, but the NYPD bomb squad is here. The FBI is on the scene, as well as Homeland Security investigators.
Okay, Corey, if you can stand by.
Here, and there are hundreds and hundreds of law enforcement officials here on the scene.
Okay, Corey, just stand by just for a second. I don't want you to go anywhere. I just want to tell our viewers that this is new video that we are just getting into CNN, which shows the chaos on that scene. And you can see broken glass and debris on 23rd Street in Manhattan. And as Corey said, that is a major thoroughfare that runs east to west in the city in a very busy part of Manhattan. Corey, again, this is, as you said, the Association of the Blind, which is where you were. So describe to me what you're seeing. As we look, there's new video, and we're seeing, I mean, it looks pretty chaotic. What's going on where you are? Did you see any of the injured?
No, I didn't see any of the injured. What I'm seeing right now is I'm standing, amongst law enforcement, but of course away from the scene so as not to interfere. And the whole block is shut down. The NYPD bomb squad vehicle is down on the block. There are, 24 fire trucks and ambulances that are here. And I believe the incoming police commissioner is on his way here. New York City's fire commissioner, Daniel Nigro, I saw on the scene, and I'm standing in front of people that are wearing FBI Joint Counterterrorism Task Force jackets. So, there's a lot going on here, but we still don't know what it is. The initial reports say that it was in a dumpster, and I just read a piece online that said that a lot of windows were knocked out in the Associated for the Blind building. So that's what I'm seeing right now.
Okay, Corey, don't go anywhere because I want to update our viewers. What you're looking at now is the scene of an explosion in New York City, in Manhattan. And here is what we know. We're told that it happened just, maybe 45 minutes to an hour ago as we were, covering this, the Congressional Black Caucus. An explosion taking place in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan, specifically at either 133 or 135 West 23rd Street. We'll get more specific about that, which would be the Association for the Blind. Just a couple of miles from here where we are. People heard the explosion from, quite a distance there. As you can see, there are several ambulances on the scene, many emergency personnel on that scene. We're now hearing there are injuries from the fire department, at least confirming now, says 25 injured in this explosion. They are also saying, though, that none of these injuries appears to be life-threatening. They're saying that they're checking for a second device. Nothing has been found yet. And also that they are ruling out gas and a gas explosion here. That is the only thing that they have ruled out. There are now fears, though, that there could be other explosive devices. Again, they have not found one. There's also some new video we saw of some of the debris, which appeared to be at some point part of a dumpster there. Again, there are the bomb squad is there. Bomb sniffing dogs are being sent out to check on the neighborhood, and we're talking about a several block areas. Our Gene Casares, who was there on the scene, said that it spanned over a couple of blocks and avenues down there. One device, we're told, was detonated and it blew up in a dumpster, and I believe that is the debris that you were seeing there. But again, we heard that there are fears that there could be another device, but so far no one has been found. Our Gene Casares, our correspondent, is on the scene. New York City Councilman Corey Johnson joins us as well. And Shimon Prokopiev, who is our justice producer, is live for us as well. I want to get to now, if everyone will stand by, Gene Casares, I want to get back to you. You were first on the scene there that we got to live here on CNN. Gene, what are you seeing and what are you hearing? Any new information for us?
Well, tell me when the shot is. I've made my way to 23rd Street right now. I'm at 23rd and 8th Avenue, and 23rd is where this explosion occurred. I am just seeing a massive line of fire trucks and ambulances and New York police vehicles. I think you can see that on the screen now, and it stretches for blocks. We're also seeing an immense amount of crowds of people because, let me just set the stage for you. This is Saturday night. This is New York City. This is the Chelsea area, an area where people go to dinner, where they walk and they hang out. And And a Saturday night in New York is where you're going to find a lot of people, especially in this beautiful weather that New York City had today and also tonight. People are just standing here. It's a calm scene. It's a very active scene, though. We do know at least 20 people injured, and that's being conservative at this point, but that is exactly what we're hearing. An explosive device, as you have said. I saw a bomb-sniffing dog myself just a minute ago, and it was not on 23rd. It was actually a block away they had that bomb-sniffing dog. Also, at one point, the police yelled out to the people, "Stay back, this is a dangerous area." And so the people are really being held behind these police lines, as you can see right behind me. But the people are here, they want to know what happened, and the police are working very hard to try to figure out exactly what caused this. Is there anything else that there should be a concern about? And obviously, who is responsible? So there's multiple layers of this investigation going on right now, and the NYPD is working very hard. Don?
Gene, I want you to stand by. Again, big breaking news happening here in New York City at this hour. I want to update our viewers here. There's been an explosion in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan. As you can see, that's where Gene Casares is. Also joining me now, this is usually her time to be on the air, is Poppy Harlow, who has made her way back to the studio. Poppy will help me with the coverage here. We'll continue covering it as long as possible. Poppy, why don't we bring in now, do we have Chief Shimon Prokupecz, who is our justice producer, who is joining us from Washington, D.C. Shimon, you have new information?
Earlier was that they have ruled out gas. I think what they're really trying to figure out right now is whether they could find anything sort of that would indicate that this was a bomb. So they have the bomb sniffing dogs there, and that's part of what they're doing. The bomb squad is also taking some samples of some of the material that sort of the explosion, where the explosion occurred, and they're checking to see if what that is. If you look at that dumpster photo, if you go back to that, you can see sort of there's kind of this blast and it's outward. So something in that dumpster obviously exploded that caused that sort of blast, and remnants from that dumpster probably hit a lot of the people who were walking by. So that could be what caused some of their injuries. I will say, like what you said earlier, they have not found the secondary device. Clearly, everyone's first thinking is this was a bomb, of course. A loud explosion occurs in Chelsea. And so everyone sort of assumes that there was something there, a device. But they haven't found anything to indicate that this was actually a bomb. Could it have been a bomb? Could it have been something else? One official I spoke to said, hey, maybe it was construction material. We just don't know yet. And, all are just urging us to be a little cautious in what we're saying. All
right, Shimon, if you'll stand by, because we're getting new information in here. Investigators believe, and we're being told now, investigators believe that the preliminary cause of this explosion is an IED in or near a dumpster. They believe that that the explosion was caused by an IED in or near the dumpster. That's a law enforcement source told CNN. The source stressed that this is preliminary and it is not conclusive, Poppy.
Right. And Shimon, stay with us because, Don, when I was on the air earlier today, Shimon was reporting other breaking news for us of this pipe bomb that detonated in Seaside Park in New Jersey around a marine run this morning. And Shimon, we were just talking about that being placed in a trash can, the FBI taking over that investigation. And then this happens today. And Don is reporting, and we have this now, that investigators believe the cause of this explosion was an IED in or near a dumpster. Obviously not relating the two events at all, but the fact that the two things happened on the same day, one in New Jersey, not that far from New York City.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so the thing, are you talking about, so what happened in New Jersey today certainly has everyone a little heightened alert. So that occurs earlier this morning. The FBI then spoke with the JTTF. They sort of get together and they were talking about what happened there. We know that the Joint Terrorism Task Force all over the country sort of have been on alert today and have all been briefed on what happened there. And then
Simone,
this happens.
I want you to stand by. Yeah, I want you to stand by because we have to get someone who's very urgent who is on the phone now. It's Chris Duffy. He is a Connecticut EMT and a firefighter who is on the scene. Chris, what can you tell us about this situation happening in Chelsea?
Yeah, hi, Don. I was on 7th walking toward 23rd and heard a very loud explosion. The explosion sound probably lasted for, 3 to 5 seconds. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard. I actually jumped. I didn't see the explosion. Initially, I thought, okay, this can't be real, fireworks or something. I didn't know what it was, and then saw a lot of people look over. So I walked up 23rd, and there was a cloud of, I guess it was smoke coming toward me, and kind of some people were running away. So I actually walked away for a split second because I thought I don't have any of my gear or anything. But then I thought, well, geez, somebody could be hurt, so let me go up there. And immediately the police were on scene, immediately. Credit to them and FDNY. And I started to get closer, and I couldn't get close enough to see where the explosion was. I did not smell gas. The cloud that I kind of walked through smelled like something that had burnt, a fire, smoke smell. And the police started yelling for us to all run away. It was not safe. Get off the street. I snapped that photo that I think has been out there. I don't think I said it was a dumpster. I don't think it was a dumpster. I think in hindsight it was just kind of like a large trash bin. But that's what I saw.
And you think that is that part of the trash bin that you're saying is that we're looking at this photo that you sent in?
Yeah. So that it looks like it was like a if I can remember correctly, it was like a plastic kind of container, like a big trash bin. Not like a metal. I didn't touch it, obviously, but it was not like a metal dumpster. I didn't know what to call it at the time, but I think it was more like a plastic bin. There was glass all over the street. There were those plastic blockers they put on the street that were spread all around. I did see one man. He was being attended to by personnel on scene. He had some kind of head injury, an elderly gentleman, bleeding from the head.
Okay. Chris, stand by. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And Chris, we're also just getting the first tweet from the mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio. His Twitter account saying they're headed to the scene of the explosion at 23rd and 6th. More information to come, so one would expect that we would hear from the mayor in a press conference as soon as possible. But again, we just know that he is headed there at this moment. As we wait for more information on that and updating you on the breaking news of 25 injured on West 23rd Street, the middle of a very busy Saturday night in Manhattan. Let me bring in Tom Fuentes, former FBI assistant director, who's joining us. Tom, at this hour, no secondary device has been located, but what are the NYPD officers, the FDNY, obviously any FBI, ATF who's on scene, what are they doing right now to sweep the area, make sure that all the civilians and all their first responders are safe, make sure there aren't any secondary devices?
Poppy's sources tell me that that they do believe they have an improvised explosive device that caused this. They are sweeping the rest of the area to make sure there's no other devices that could pose a danger to the people. And now they're just awaiting a large number of bomb experts that are going to be arriving from NYPD, the FBI, other agencies, and you have probably the best collection of explosives experts anywhere in the world based in New York City. So between the police department and the federal agencies, they should be able to get to the bottom of what type of device caused this explosion pretty soon.
And what would they be doing to make sure that there aren't secondary devices, a third, a fourth, a fifth located in the vicinity? What are they doing to sweep that? Because obviously this is, New York City on a Saturday night. You've got tons and tons of people. That's right next to a major subway intersection right there as well.
Well, you're right, and they can't sweep the whole city. They can really try to do that neighborhood and bring in dogs and look in garbage dumpsters and other places where a device might be hidden, but there's only so much they can do. And you're right, it could be, that's an enormous city, and they don't have enough dogs there to do the whole sweep of a whole city. The other thing that they are doing is that the explosive experts in New York will be comparing devices with what they found in New Jersey. And oftentimes the explosive examiners and investigators immediately contact each other, send photos to each other of the different pieces of debris to try to compare whether or not it was made by the same person.
Right, and just so our viewers know what Tom is talking about, as you know, Don, earlier today, investigators in Seaside Park, New Jersey, found a pipe bomb that exploded. It was placed in a trash can right around a military 5K run that was happening this morning. So Tom Fuentes is saying they will compare the two, see if there's any possible connection. No reporting of a connection at this time. Tom, stay with me. Let's listen to an eyewitness and what they told New York One, our affiliate, that they saw.
I was at 22nd and 7th Avenue sitting outside having dinner, and I felt a loud explosion, and it felt like a lightning bolt struck the building. It like shook the ground, and everyone ran out of the restaurants in the street. The whole city was in the street. I've never seen so many cops drive the wrong way. Fire trucks, undercover cops driving the wrong way aggressively, like 20, 30 miles an hour upstream, up 7th Avenue, closed everything down. People smelled smoke. First they thought it was a building collapsed, and we heard it was an IED and everything else, so everyone's on Twitter, but the whole neighborhood shut down. We were supposed to go see a movie tonight. That shut down. Everything shut down. It seems like a lot of chaos.
What was going through your mind? Were you concerned?
They said that there may be other bombs and to stay put, and the cops were telling everyone not to move anywhere. So I live in the neighborhood. I certainly was concerned. I assumed it was a gas. There's been a ton of construction in this area. Everything's been closed down. I assumed it was that, but it was pretty scary for sure.
You said you saw them going backwards against traffic, ambulances. Was it chaos or was it controlled?
It was definitely controlled, but it was aggressive. Like there's a fire station on 19th Street, and they were going up 7th Avenue, and the ambulances and the undercover cops, and it looked like FBI and others. And other people saw the FBI coming, but it was definitely, no one was running out of the subways. I was afraid it was in the subway. That didn't happen. But definitely everyone was told to get out, and they keep moving the perimeter further and further. At first it was 23rd, then it was 22nd. They moved people away from 22nd. So, the cops are on it. They're doing a great job.
Did you see anybody injured or running from the scene, or anyone being put in an ambulance?
I wasn't that close, but I saw on Twitter quite a few people. Allegedly 25 people have been taken to the hospitals. So. It's disconcerting. We're just talking about, this just being, what happened and why Chelsea. And, I walk down the street every day. I live over here and I work over there. And this is like my main thoroughfare. And I'm either in an Uber, a cab, or on foot on this street all the time. So this is my neighborhood. This isn't a tourist attraction. This is just the middle of the city. And it does frighten me.
You're welcome. Can I ask you if they come to us?
There you have that eyewitness account, Don, from someone who said, this is the route I take every single day. This is sort of the middle of Manhattan, and now 25 people are injured from what authorities believe is an explosive device in or near that dumpster. But, Don, if any city has just a huge amount of surveillance, it is New York City. So Tom Fuentes, who's with us still, talk to us about what investigators are doing right now in terms of the surveillance footage, because there are cameras on every corner in New York City. What footage are they able to scan through right now that would lead them to who may have caused this?
Well, they'll be looking at all of the footage of cameras that are at street corners, on sidewalks, in front of businesses. Even though it's a residential area, you might have private cameras on those apartments that also would show people walking around. Now, that's going to be very difficult because, people walking down a sidewalk and tossing something into a garbage can may not attract attention. And being at night, it might be hard to have enough resolution in the photography to make out the faces of someone or get a good description of someone that may actually put something on the ground like that. During the Boston Marathon bombing, there were thousands of videos that were examined, but they had the advantage, at least, that it was broad daylight and in a downtown area where it was easy to obtain that much camera footage. But this is nighttime. It might be a little bit more difficult to be able to identify somebody from pictures taken by those videos.
And you also don't know if it was a time device at this point, because it's very early on in the investigation. So the person who put it there, or person or persons who put it there, we don't know exactly when they would have put it there. But Tom, I just want to update the viewers, and I have a question for you. Again, this is breaking news. It's coming out of New York City. You're looking at these new images that are coming into CNN. There's been an explosion in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan, a very busy neighborhood on a Saturday night here. 23rd, West 23rd Street and 6th Avenue. According to the New York City Fire Department, at least 25 people have been injured here. They do believe that the injuries are non-life threatening. They have ruled out a gas explosion, and at this point they believe it was an IED. My question is to you, Tom, quickly, is what are the odds? This happening in New Jersey, as Poppy was on the air covering it earlier, there was a device that exploded there, and now you have this device not far away in a very busy section of New York City.
Well, it is highly coincidental, Don, you're right. The only other thing, it could possibly be a copycat if someone already had explosive devices that they were ready to deploy, and then heard about the attack in New Jersey earlier today and decided that they would also do that. That sounded like a good idea to them. So it's possibly a copycat, it's possibly the same person. But they'll have a good idea when the experts examine those devices. They'll get a pretty good idea if they were made by the same person or from the same bomb-making school or instructions from the internet.
Yeah, and again, the IED, it's very early on. That's preliminary reports. Nothing has been confirmed or nothing is conclusive at this point as we look at these pictures.
Right, and as we look at these images, these coming to us from Reuters of what happened tonight, just a little over an hour ago there in the busy Chelsea neighborhood. The intersection of 23rd Street and 6th Avenue, a major subway station is right there.